So what is going on, guys? Today I want to do a Booktube slash Authortube newbie tag. Now what a newbie tag is when a creator is new to Booktube, they do a video explaining the kind of books they're into, the kind of taste they have, and just giving the audience, a measure, a little microdose of their personality and all that good stuff. Now this is typically filmed in like a very aesthetic place in their house or in front of their bookshelf, but I don't have anything like that. I have 3 other roommates. We have a dog. It's a Bernese Mountain Dog. And Rigby is actually an avid supporter of my work. He loves my books. Unfortunately, he loves the way that my writing tastes. So I can't really keep too many books around him or they're going to get destroyed. So this is what we got. This is what we're going to work with. So as far as what you can expect from this channel, I don't know. Because I don't really read enough books often enough to, dish out reviews and have too many discussions about them, but I only have like a book to talk about or promote at like once a year. So I would say this is more of a media critique kind of channel, more than like a writing or book specific channel. But apparently people like these videos. Not that many people, but someone does. So I guess I'm gonna keep making them. So with that being said, I want to talk about some of my work. So this is my first book ever. It's called Magic is for Real. So this is sort of a grounded urban fantasy crime thriller. I feel like if you grew up with Harry Potter or Percy Jackson, this is sort of an aged up kind of story. At least in my eyes, that's what I wanted to create. Something that someone who grew up with urban fantasy as a genre so much in in their childhood and their adolescence, just a story that they might appreciate as an adult. But I think I was wrong. I think I kind of missed the mark because it was not that well received. But this was an idea that was kind of bouncing around in my head since I was like 14 or 15, and then it really changed. It really grew as I matured, and then finally once I was like 19 or 20, I finally put pen to paper and just got it done. So not my best work, but I'm very proud it exists. I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy with it. So magic is for real. There you go. Now, this is my sophomore attempt. It's called A Court of Queens. Now, this is a dark fantasy retelling of classic folklore stories. So, stories like Cinderella, stories like Beauty and the Beast, stories like Snow White, stories like The Little Mermaid, The Genie and the Three Wishes. So, in this story, instead of them being fairy tale princesses, they are blessed queens. They are the matriarchal rulers of their respective kingdoms and territories. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to leave a link in the description for both books. But I don't want this to be an ad. I don't want this to be just a promotion for my books. I want to give you guys the opportunity to connect the artist to the art. So I want to talk about some of my other hobbies. And first up to bat has got to be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So this is me getting my blue belt. This was about 2 years ago now. So for those of you that don't know a whole lot about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it is a grappling sport, and there are 5 belts. There's white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. So this is about, I guess, 20% roughly, 1/4 of the way to getting a black belt. Don't quote me on that. I'm just trying to, whatever. So, a very big achievement for me. It doesn't really mean a whole lot because I'm going to keep doing jiu-jitsu until, the day like my bones stop working, the day that my muscles can't do it anymore. But really big day for me. So right here is my first match at blue belt. This is about 2 weeks after my belt promotion. So I am super nervous for this. I really wanted to say that I won my first match at blue belt, or at the very least, if I lost, I wanted to say that I lost by points. I did not get submitted in my first match at blue belt. So, I'm thinking, you got this shit, you got it, Chibs, Eye the Tiger, just lock in, focus up, all that classic Karate Kid bullshit.
A few minutes later.
This kid fucking sauced me, son. This kid fucking beat my ass, dude. This took like 2 minutes, bro. Yeah, this was not my best showing. And, fun fact, when he got that arm bar, I did not want to tap, and then he cranked it, and then a numbness shot down from my wrist into my shoulder, and now I have an elbow and wrist injury that I'm still dealing with and healing to this day. So if there's any kids watching, don't try at anything. If you ever feel pain or uncomfortability, just give up, because you can only make it worse for yourself. Don't try at things. Don't, Anyway, I had another match after this, and I did win this match, but This arm is completely numb. I cannot feel a thing in this arm. So my wrestling is complete shit. So anyway, I won that match. I came in third. A bit of a frustrating day for me, but I just really saw where the level was. And I was just kind of glad to have competed and sort of have that notch on my belt, competing at the highest level. So I want to talk about writing a little bit. I know this is going to be very disjointed, but I want to. I'm not one for writing advice. I feel like the advice that works for writing and the advice that works for jiu-jitsu are very similar. Where when you're starting out, someone's going to tell you, hey, stop doing that. That's stupid. That makes no sense. Do it this way. And then once you kind of get to a certain level, the advice becomes very subjective. It becomes very much like, this is what works for me, and this is what might work for you, and you figure it out for yourself. There's a lot of right answers, essentially. But there's two pieces of writing advice that I would give to myself and I would give to anyone. The first one has got to be, take an architecture class. Holy shit. Take an architecture class. Take an interior design class, because having to describe so many buildings and settings and places and whatever, just having that the back of your mind just makes it so much easier. At the very least, knowing what to search upon Google as like a reference to describe has got to be up there with some of the skills that you're gonna fall back on, you're gonna need. So I would say, if you want to be a writer in any capacity, if you want to write films, if you want to write scripts, if you want to write comics, take an architecture class, please. So the second piece of advice has got to be, embrace creative rest. Now, what do I mean by creative rest? When I was in my last semester of college, I had this writing class, and it was essentially a class to teach you to interpret and write and understand research papers, academic writing. So the teacher was trying to give us advice on what to do if you have a writer's block. Now, what she said was, well, she didn't actually say anything. She took out her phone and we played What Am I? It's kind of like a charades guessing kind of game. And we just did that for 5 minutes. And her point by doing that was, when you're facing a writer's block, don't sit in front of your computer or your laptop or your typewriter and just try to like figure it out. You're just gonna waste time. It's best if you go for a walk, play catch or something, play with your dog, like do anything else that's going to distract you in a way for a few minutes, and then come back to it with a fresh set of eyes. That's really the only thing that's helped me with writer's block, is going to be creative distractions, good distractions. So a favorite of mine has got to be video games. I think when I'm in the brainstorming phase, the world building phase of writing a story, I think open world games help a lot. Things like Forager or Minecraft, I think they're perfect when you're literally building a world and crafting things. Ironically, it's perfect for that. And then when you're kind of in the nitty gritty creative writing and editing phase, I personally love like boomer shooters. I love Doom, I love Quake, Shadow Warrior. So with that being said, I'm going to do a tier list of the best boomer shooters available for the PS4. So now that I've completely alienated all of my audience that reads, let's get into it. So starting off, I'm going to do the new Doom games. So I'm going to put Doom 2016 S tier. I mean, amazing. So fun. And I'm going to put Doom Eternal in A tier. Now, I know this might be controversial. I get it, okay? But the reason I'm putting Doom Eternal as in the A tier is that I feel like there was a few leveled enemy choices and a few level design things that really, drag down the latter half of the game. And I even played a little bit of Ancient Gods, and the same thing kind of persisted. So what annoyed me right away was, I think it was like the Citadel mission. In the Citadel mission, there's one arena where it's basically just like a giant rectangle. So I just found myself running in circles and shooting, and it was just not fun. It was just irritating. Like that was probably a really low point in the game. It didn't happen too many times, but it did happen. And the enemies, so really any enemy in the game where that green light would flash, you had to counter them, I thought sucked ass. It was so boring. I think that is a really good mechanic for a sword fighting game, like an Assassin's Creed, a Sekiro, something like that. But for a boomer shooter, it just grinded ground. I don't know English. It ground the action to a halt. Especially that one thing that has a ghost dog or whatever, and has a shotgun and a shield. I feel like if you just took out some of those things that made a really fast enemy, they have to like really time and counter. That would have been a really fun enemy. But every time I saw that thing, I'm just like, wow, great, this is gonna suck. So and also the turrets in Ancient Gods. Why, dude? That's so annoying, and it's so irritating that you have to use the sniper thing on the machine gun. It's like, I don't like using the sniper thing. That's why I use the rockets. Like, and it's one thing for like those big marauders that shoot grenades at you, and you can like shoot into the what do you call it? Like into the cannon of their guns. Like, that's cool, but it's optional. Like, you don't have to do that to beat them. It's just like, you know, it's there for you. But having to use the sniper to deal with this one turret is just irritating. It's just not fun. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I just did not like some of the enemies. Other than that, perfect game. I love everything about Doom Eternal except those like 3 things. So that's what I have to say. S tier for Doom 2016. I replayed it recently. Still slaps. Doom Eternal, really good. A few mind-boggling like enemy choices, and some of the area designs were kind of, you know, a little poor towards the end of the game, but you know, still really good. Next up, we're gonna go Shadow Warrior 3, and I'm gonna put Shadow Warrior 3. I want to put an S tier because I'm having so much fun with it. I'm gonna put an A tier because I did run into like some crashes and like a glitch, you know, here or there. But I have not played Shadow Warrior 1 or 2. I'm assuming that'd be probably an A or B tier. But Shadow Warrior 3, so fun, so good. Well, I mean, what can I say? If you like Doom Eternal, you're not gonna not like this game. It's so much fun. The sword is awesome. It feels really good. Using the traps to kill enemies is very satisfying. It's frustrating, but it's never like frustrating in just like a purely annoying way. It's just like, you just gotta lock in. You just gotta lock in, honestly. And it feels a lot more like floaty and quick. Where Doom or Doom Eternal, you feel like a little bit more like a tank kind of. So you know, Shadow Warrior 3, great game. And next up, I'm going to go with let's go with Proteus. Proteus, I'm going to put in the B tier. So I really like Proteus. I think Proteus really could have benefited from a good melee to sort of mix up the combat, and also grenades would have been cool. That's not the biggest deal in the world, but what did kind of bother me a little bit about the game was just having to unlock the movement abilities. So like the dash and the double jump, you have to unlock. I would have preferred you just kind of play the game and unlock it instead of having to grind and buy it out of the store. Like, that kind of seemed whatever. It wasn't for me. And what was kind of irritating was that I was at a point where I had to like choose between the double jump and the dash. And I got the dash, which I don't think changes the gameplay like a crazy amount. But if you try to like redo some levels to try to get more of those coins, like those like golden hearts or whatever, it's easier to do with the double jump to access those areas. So like, I'm kind of in like a really weird position where now, because of what I chose and how I chose to like unlock things, I'm finding it difficult to even get more unlocks and get more coins for it. So like that kind of irritated me a little bit. It's really fun though. I love the retro style. It definitely looks really cool. So I definitely enjoy it, but it's just like, it doesn't have like the tight, fluid gameplay of these, but it's enjoyable. Next up, I'm gonna go Warhammer Bolt Gun. I'm putting that in C tier. This might also be a controversial take. I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was really good. My main problem with this game is that there was no amount of tinkering with the controls that made it feel good and fluid. You know, like, so in this game, it has an acceleration-based movement system. So even if you stop moving the stick, your character's still gonna like fly forward, like, you know, skate forward a little bit, which is fine. But like, the problem is that like, there's not really like a natural left or right sway to it. So it just kind of feels disorienting. It kind of made me like motion sick after a while. And with just about all of these games, I would recommend you tinkering with the controls till it feels how you want to feel. But Bolt Gun just never really felt satisfying. It never felt like crisp and good, like it fit my playstyle. It always felt a little wonky, a little janky, and especially when it throws like a lot of enemies at you. Like, it's just so fucking irritating. Especially those little frog things. Oh my god, like it's the most, and those little small, like pipsqueak little enemies that like soak up way too many bullets are just annoying. They're just irritating. But it does have fun gameplay. It does look really, you know, spectacular. It looks amazing. the weapons, you know, the chainsaw thing you have is awesome. The grenades are great. So it's a fun game. It's just like when I was trying to get more into boomer shooters, it was kind of like Doom Eternal, Shadow Warrior, kind of like the GOATs, and then Proteus and Vulcan were like, you know, the kind of the silver and bronze, I guess, of boomer shooters. And I just don't think, I think Proteus is like a little bit above this in terms of like I actually enjoy consistently. Bolt Gun is just, once I ran into like a crazy big arena, it just got super irritating and had the same problem that Doom Eternal has, where some of the arenas are just built in like a circle, like an oval. So you just find yourself running through them over and over and over again, shooting enemies, which is just like not fun. There's not like a creative way to move through it. You're just basically running over and over again. So Bolt Gun, I'm going to put C tier. Next up, I'm going to go with Strafe. Strafe is going D tier. Strafe fucking sucks. I hate Strafe. I mean, it can be fun. It can be fun, but there's just better roguelike shooters out there. So I'm not going to waste too much time on it. It's like, it's slow. It's kind of not glitchy, but it's like, it's very stuttery. It's, you know, it's Strafe. It sucks. Next up, I'm going to go with Ion Fury. Let's go with Ion Fury. Ion Fury, I'm going to put it C tier. So Ion Fury has a similar problem as Bolt Gun, where there was no amount of tinkering with the controls and with the axis and with the dead zones or whatever to make it feel like, you know, to make the controls feel solid and good. I just always felt like I was on skates shooting a goddamn BB gun. Like that's really what killed it for me. Like it felt like the guns didn't really have much of an impact, and I was just skating around like it was a fucking ice rink. So that, yeah, Ion Fury. I mean, I will play it, but I will probably finish it at some point. But I'd have to be really desperate for games to play and be really broke, because Ion Fury is just not that much fun. Next up, I'm gonna go with Risk of Rain. Now I know Risk of Rain is technically not a boomer shooter. I get it. Don't comment that. I know. However, it has everything that I like about boomer shooters. It has a variety of weapons. It has really slick movement. It has cool enemies. The bosses are awesome in Risk of Rain. The bosses are awesome in Risk of Rain. I love Risk of Rain, so I'm gonna put that S tier. I don't care what anyone says. It's a boomer shooter to me, so I'm gonna go S tier with Risk of Rain. So next up, I'm gonna go Project Warlock. Now Project Warlock, I really wanted to put an S tier. I'm gonna put it. This is gonna be me kind of seething and coping. I'm gonna put it B tier. My problem with Project Warlock is that I am stuck on the first boss in the game. And I don't mean stuck like I've tried a few times and, you know, it wasn't feeling it and I just couldn't get in the rhythm or whatever. I'm talking about the last 8 or 9 times I have booted up this game. I have locked in and tried to beat this boss and I cannot do it. I keep getting stuck on that final stage of the boss where it runs at you with that big like drill fist and just kills you. I've watched walkthroughs, I've watched playthroughs, and I just don't know how people are doing it. I don't understand. Like I'm playing it on hard, if not very hard, and I know it's like what people are obviously gonna say is just like, dude, get good. But you know, like, do you know how frustrating it is to have a writer's block and then be stuck on a part in a video game? Like, bro, fuck that. That is not what I play video games for. I'm trying to relax, trying to have a good time. Like, I don't care if it's hard, but that was a challenge that just irked me, which is so annoying. And like also, I realized I was playing it wrong, where I was shooting at the boss and ignoring the minions. But if you just ignore the minions and I mean, if you don't ignore the boss and shoot at the minions, it's eventually gonna like keep going down to the different stages of the boss, which I think is a little strange for level design. But like, I didn't hate it. It just like, it's super frustrating. I will finish this game, but fuck, it annoyed the shit out of me. So I'm gonna put it B tier. This is my list. Cope C. I don't care. Next up, we're gonna do the Quake games. Now, Quake 2. Quake 2 is going S tier. Quake 2 is awesome. It's perfection. It's so much fun. It's awesome. It's perfect. No notes. Quake 2 is the best. It's the best. It's the best $5 or $3 or however much I spent when it was on sale. The best whatever amount of money I've ever spent. And I'm gonna put this in A tier. It's just, you know, I'm gonna rate these a little differently. You know, the older games, because they're classic games. But honestly, rating it next to I typically play Quake 1 on my Vita, to be honest with you. But I could compare this to, you know, any of these games. A Proteus, Project Warlock, Bolt Gun, Ion Fury, Strafe, whatever. It's better than all those games. So, Yeah, it's more Quake. What can you say? Quake 1 and 2 remastered are just, oh my god. Mwah. Next up, we're gonna go with the Doom games, the classic Doom games. I'm gonna put them all A tier. If you really love boomer shooters, you'll really like these. But they're definitely not for everyone. Now, with that being said, I have not gone super far into the older Doom games, Doom 1, 2, and 64, just because they're kind of my like, relax game, just kick back kind of game. They're not really games I lock in and focus really heavily, like a Doom or Shadow Warrior or Project Warlock or whatever. So they're super relaxing, they're super fun. It's nice to see like where the inspiration came from. Like it's great. It's great. What can I say? So I'm editing this right now, and one of the reasons I put Quake and the old Doom games above things like Bolt Gun and Ion Fury is because they have that same style of movement with slowly sliding forward when you stop, like an acceleration based movement, and they still feel a lot more natural and easy to maneuver than Bolt Gun and Ion Fury. I think it might be that these have no reticles on there, like the crosshairs, and these do. I might try that in these games and see if they feel better. I really doubt that's gonna help much, but these older games, that their movement feels a lot less nauseating and difficult to work with than Warhammer and Iron Fury, which is that's funny that the old games do it better. I feel like that's kind of ironic, but it just, these ones worked, these ones felt good, these ones didn't. Now, last up, we're gonna do Ziggurat, and I also know that this is not a boomer shooter, but it has everything I love about boomer shooters. The movement is super slick. The weapons are really fun to use. What can I say? Ziggurat is awesome, dude. Ziggurat is so good. I'm gonna put that S tier as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I decided to blow it up so you guys can, see it better. But I really appreciate just having the time to talk about my passions and my hobbies. And I hope someone out there enjoys it. I know this is like a very disjointed video. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna put writing hashtags on it or video game hashtags on it or martial arts hashtags on it, like whatever. But this is what I like. This is what I enjoy. This is, what you can expect from my channel, kind of random stuff like this. So have a good one, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you.